What is love? It's a hard time to define. It's so far as it's very a weird application. I can love jogging, I can love a book, a movie, I can love a scallop, I can love my wife. But there is a great difference between a scallop and my wife, for instance. That is, if I follow the scallop on the other hand, it doesn't follow me back. Where is my wife? She called me the star of her life. Therefore, only another decision consistent can confirm is a developing being. I know this, that's why love can be defined as more category a desire of being desired. Hence, the eternal problem of love. How to become and remain desirable. The individual just to find an answer to this problem. By submitting is left to community rule. You had a specific part to play, according to your sex, your age, your social status, and you only had to play your part to be valued and loved by the whole community. Think about the young man who must remain caste before, right? Think about the young son who must obey the eldest son, who it soon must obey the patriarchs. But a phenomenon started in the 13th century, mainly in the Renaissance in the West, that caused the biggest identity crisis in the history of humankind. This phenomenon is modernity. We can basically summarize it through a triple bridge. First, a process of rationalism of scientific research, which accelerate this technical progress. Next, a process of political demonstration, which has fostered individual rights. And finally, a process of rationalism of economic production and of trade liberation. These three intervenient processes have completely annihilated all the traditional viewing of Western societies, with radical consequence for the individual. No individuals are free to value or disvalue any attitude, any choice, any object. But as a result, they are themselves confronted with the same freedom all the other love to value or disvalue them. In other words, my value was once ensured. By submitting myself to the traditional authorities, now it is quoted in the stock exchange. On the free market of the individual desire, I negotiated my value every day. Hence the anxiety of contemporary era. He is obvious. Am I desirable? How desirable? How many people are going to love me? And who does he respond to next anxiety? Well, be historically collecting symbol of desirability. I call this act of coloring, along with other seduction capital, in that our consumer socially a large capital on seduction capital. It is said about this consumption that are act materialistic. But it's not true, we only accumulate object. In order to communicate with other men, we do it to make them love us, to seduce them. Nothing could be less materialistic or more sentimental than a teenager buying brand new jeans and tearing them at the knees because he wants to please Jennifer. Consumerism is not materialism. It is rather what is swallowed up and sacrificed in the name of the good of love, or rather in the name of seduction capital. In lack of this observation on cemetery love, How can we think of love in the years to come? We can envision to the first one consists of beating. That is what the process of narcissistic capitalization with intensity. It is hard to say what a shape this intensification will be, because it likely depends on social and technical innovation, which are by definition difficult to predict. But we can, for instance, imagine a dating website, which a bit like those loyalty points program. Use seduction capital point that vary according to my age, my weight, or my degree, my salary, or the number of clicks on my profile. We can also imagine a chemical treatment for breakup that we can for the feeling or attachment. By the way, there is a program on MTV already, in which seduction teacher treat her test as a disease. This teacher call themselves pick up artists. Artist in French is easy, its mean is all. Pick up is to pick someone up, but not just any picking, so they are artists of picking up chick. And they artists what it is. In English, it is of suffix the signifies infection. One it is can be translated as an infection from one. It's a bit disgusting in that for the pick-up artist. Falling in love with someone is a waste of time. It's seduction your seduction capital, so it must be eliminated like a disease, like an infection. We can also envision a romantic use of the genome. Everyone will carry it around and present it like a business card. The very if seduction can progress to reproduction. Of course, distress for seduction, like every fierce competition, will create huge disparities on narcissistic satisfaction, and therefore a lot of loneliness and frustration too. So we can expect that modernity itself, with a tragic origin of seduction capital, will be called into question, and thinking particularly of the direction of neo-fascists of religious communists. But such a future doesn't have to be. But a such future doesn't have to be. Another path to thinking about love be possible. But how? How to denounce the hysterical need to be followed? Well, be becoming aware of my useless. Yes, I'm useless. But rest assured, so are you. We are all useless. This uselessness is so easily mentioned because in order to be followed, I need another to discern me, which so that I don't have any inherent value. We all pretend to have an idol. We all pretend to be an idol for someone else. We are all important, a bit like a man of the street, who appears totally cool and independent. He will actually anticipate and calculate, so that are on or him. I think that becoming aware of the general imposture that concern all of us, who is all love relationship, it is because I want to be loved from head to toe, justified in my every choice. The seduction is very exists, and therefore I want to seem perfect, so that another can love me. I want them to be perfect, so that I can be assured of my follow is left to cover. Obsession with performance. We will break up just like that, as a silting under which instrument. In contrast to this attitude, I call you upon tenders, love are tenders. What is tenders? To be tender is to accept to love one weakness. It is about not becoming a set couple of orderly That's pretty bad. Only the contrary, there plenty on charm and happiness in tenderness. It refers specifically to a kind of humor that is comfortable in a universal. It is a sort of literally deliberate. It refers to self-mockery. For a couple who is no longer supported by constraint of situation, I believe in the best mean for a relationship to endure. Thank you for your attention.